Welcome everyone to ShopTech Studio. So today we are going to be discussing Docker. So I've chose Pi-hole for my first project. It's pretty simple. It's something that every network can benefit from, and it seemed like a great place to start. Now, I watched a ton of YouTube videos, and some of them did a moderate job of explaining what Docker is, but there was no one video that I could have watched start to finish and that would have walked me through a successful installation. So that's what I got for you guys today. We're going to try to keep this one relatively short and sweet, and if you watch my video from the start to finish, you just need to go sit down on your computer, pull up my video. I'm going to have the description of all the commands that we're going to use, and all you're going to need to do is drag and drop them into the command line, and you will have Pi-hole up and running. So first things first, I'm going to try to confuse you a little bit. We're not going to be using Docker. We're going to be using Docker Compose. But don't click off yet, because Docker Compose is contained within Docker. If you've installed the Docker app, you already have it. Now I'm going to read a couple things off here so I don't get them wrong. Okay, we are going to be deploying Pi-hole as a persistent, maintainable DNS ad blocking service on a macOS based using Docker Compose. So let's break that down a little bit and talk about exactly what that means. Sometimes if they're not persistent changes, they're not permanent. Persistent means permanent. So this is going to be a permanent change to your Docker, and that's important because that means this Pi-hole app is always going to be running. But if your computer restarts, loses power, sometimes if they're not persistent changes, they're not permanent. Now, what's a DNS ad blocking service? A DNS ad blocking service, that's what Pi-hole is, but it depends on exactly where in the food chain we deploy it, right? For us, we are going to install it on our server. So everything basically comes from the router to the server and gets branched down and filtered for their ads from the top. This video is going to be specific to Mac iOS, and like I said, we are going to be using Docker Compose. Now I already know I'm making Docker Compose sound confusing. It's just a change of how you type it in. The important thing to understand here is if your Docker goes down for some reason and you do it the other way, you're going to have all the commands already written down that you used last time when you deployed the Docker container, and you're going to have to put each step in until it's running, okay? So using Docker Compose, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a primary folder. We're going to create 2 subfolders that live underneath it. It takes about 20 seconds, and we're going to install Pi-hole into one of those folders. So there are a couple key concepts I want to go over real quick. Docker must be installed and running. All the commands that we are going to enter are done through the command line, but don't be scared. It's going to be simple copy and paste. Doing it this way, if Docker resets, the container breaks, or you move to another Mac Mini, you won't have to redo this all over again. When you do it this way, everything lives in the Docker Compose file, and one command brings everything back. And using Docker Compose will not tax your resources, make your computer run slower, or change how the application runs in any way. So we're going to jump over to the computer and we're going to get to it.
So from the Euro app, I'm just going to hit Settings, Advanced Networking. I'm going to do a reservation for an IP address, add the reservation, scroll down, find my device. As soon as I find my device, I just click on it and click Save, and it remembers that that's the IP address I want to use for that device. It's better to do it this way than setting a static IP from the device. Next, we're just going to check a couple things. We're going to come up to the Apple, click about this Mac, make sure that we are running Tahoe, and we're going to come down here into System Settings. We're going to come in here, scroll down to the User and Groups, and we are going to make sure that we are using an admin account. Now I've went ahead and staged terminal and made sure that my Docker is also open, and you can check up top by the time, make sure that it's actually running. Now, everything I have showing up here on Notepad, I'm going to put down in the description of this video for you guys. It's just broke down here on the screen so I can actually do it for you guys as well, right? So we're going to open terminal and we're going to paste in the first command. We're going to hit enter. As soon as we're done with that, we're going to create the Docker compose file. We're going to copy this next command here. Those are those folders we were talking about. Go ahead and click enter. We're going to grab that third folder, copy it. Make sure you don't copy any extra spaces and anything that can mess things up. We're going to paste that in there, hit enter. Now we're going to take a look at this real quick here, okay? This is the Docker compose script, okay? Now we got some things going on in here. We got ports right there, as you see. Now, as long as this thing installs properly and doesn't tell you that there's an issue, those ports are just fine. You're going to figure that out without even trying, okay? Now you are going to want to make sure you put the correct time zone in there, and I'm going to change the password in this to, let's go with password with a capital P 1234. Now, if you want to establish your password right now, feel free when you copy and paste this in to put whatever password you want. But just to make life easier, you're probably going to have to put it on a Word doc first and then paste it in, because it only allows you to really modify it from the top and the bottom from what I found. But don't worry, after it's running, I'm also going to show you how to change the password. So we're going to go ahead and copy all this. Make sure that we don't add anything extra like I'm trying to do right here. Get it from that version 3.8 down to the restart unless stopped. We're going to copy that and we are going to paste it over to our command line. Now, if you look on my Word doc over there, down in the description, I got the says do not copy. I got a couple commands there. Push Control+O and then enter. So we're going to do that. It's going to come up with that. Now we're just going to press Control+X. And actually, we don't have to push enter. I'm going to delete that off of the script right there. And it's going to bring us back to this screen right here. Now that Docker's installed, we're just going to use the docker compose up command. And that is going to run your Docker. Now, if you come under here, bullet point 6, we got access. Now, we got the web interface. Those stars, you're going to have to replace them with the IP address that you set up on your router earlier. And as long as we left port 8080, there's no need to change that. We're going to paste that up into our web browser, and it's going to bring us right to Pi-hole. Now, before we jump into the Pi-hole, I did promise you I was going to show you how to change your password. So we're going to copy this little script down here under operations, and we are going to paste it up in the terminal. And it's just going to ask us to enter the password. The cursor isn't actually going to flash. I'm typing it right now. I'm going to hit enter, and then you're going to see it ask to re-enter my password. I'm going to confirm it one time real quick. And now I have a new secret password. Now I did log in because I don't want to share my password with the world. I'm going to come up here in advanced networking under my Euro, and I need to set the DNS to the computer that's running Pi-hole. This is going to ensure that all the traffic gets filtered through that IP address first, and that Pi-hole can basically block all the ads. Now, I was super excited when I got to this point. I updated all the script for you guys, so this should be a really quick process. It took me quite some time to do it. I got to this screen, I was all excited, and you can see up there, all those numbers show 0. So I had to figure out what the problem was, and I'm going to share it with you guys right here. We're going to come over to the Docker app. So we're going to open the Docker app, hit the little sprocket for settings, come over here under resources, and we're going to hit network and enable host networking. Apply and restart, and give that just a few seconds. We're going to move this screen out of the way, and look at there, everything's working as it should be. Now make sure you guys are using the stuff that I put down in the video description, because I did update this a few times, and don't skip this section. There's a few things to note. If you're not in the Docker directory already, or you closed the terminal and reopened it, none of these are going to work. You got to use this little coding I gave you right here, paste it in there, and now we can bring Docker up, or we can take Docker down. We can check the compose files. Now, one really important thing to know, if you're going to use the one for updating Docker, you're going to have to come in here. You're going to have to turn off that networking option that we had enabled the first time, and go back and paste that code in there, and now it will pull from the Docker repository. So just so you guys are aware of it.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap this one up. I really hope you learned something. I hope this helps people who are doing their first Docker installation. I thought I was going to a website, downloading some files, installing them. You can do it from the Docker repository, but like I said, if you're not running them through Docker Compose, then they're not going to be persistent changes. And basically, even though the other way is a little bit of a user interface to it, it's still doing what we just did right now. So what you'll figure out as your Docker containers grow, that the terminal is really where everything gets done. That kind of confused me when I first got started. So if you guys got any questions, I will do my best to answer them. I'm not a pro at this topic, but this is probably going to be about a 10, 11 minute video, and it took me about 6 hours to do my homework, explain it, get my first one up and running, and truly ask all the questions that I needed to feel comfortable understanding before I really did my first container. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button. I appreciate it. I'm always down for some recommendations, and I'll catch you on the next one.